top stories tonight. Police fired tear gas at Abuja demonstrators against economic policies and soaring living costs. President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to improving Nigeria's future. Interpol, NIDCAM, commended for recovering stolen vehicle. Iran launches missile attacks against Israel. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin by telling you that police in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, fired tear gas to disperse a group of protesters rallying against the country's economic policies, governance, and rising cost of living. The demonstration, organized by civil society groups, follows calls for a nationwide protest set for October 1, coinciding with Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. Protesters are demanding reductions in fuel and food prices, electricity tariffs, and the release of activists arrested during demonstrations in August. Since assuming office last year, President Bola Tinubu has implemented key reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidy and liberalizing the naira. Actions analysts believe will stimulate economic recovery and attract foreign investment. However, these measures have led to a surge in fuel prices and inflation, reaching its highest level in 30 years, putting immense pressure on citizens.
Policemen here have started shooting tear gas. It's still early. It's still as early as we just came out here. But it's unfortunate that a nation that is 64 years of independence today is experiencing this level of lawlessness by the law enforcement. They cannot claim to be an independent nation when the people are not independent of hunger, the people are not free from insecurity. The institution that is meant to protect the people are even constituting the highest threat to security in this country.
In a country as diverse and dynamic as Nigeria, protests have become a powerful tool for citizens to express their frustrations, demand accountability, and advocate change. But just how effective are protests in Nigeria, especially 64 years after independence? Nigeria, a nation of over 200 million people and numerous resources, continues to grapple with social, political, and economic challenges. News Center's Bettina Uweli reports.
He came with renewed hope mantra, but he has forgotten. He's giving us shaggy.
From the protest against the military rule in the 1990s to the hashtag Occupy Nigeria movement.
He came with renewed hope mantra, but he has forgotten. He's giving us shaggy.
From the protest against the military rule in the 1990s to the hashtag Occupy Nigeria movement in 2012 and the global sensation of the hashtag EndSARS protest in 2020, among others, Nigeria has a rich history of civil resistance. Each protest has had varying degrees of success in achieving its objectives. The power of collective action in Nigeria can be traced back to the colonial era. Protests, strikes, and boycotts played pivotal roles in the struggle for independence in 1960.
Most people are hungry, most of the citizens. And even like as a businessman, the customers are not turning up. Like things have went downhill, as in I'm short of words to explain.
They are there to serve us, but now they believe that we are people that are serving them, and it's not proper. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
In 2012, Nigeria experienced one of its largest nationwide protests, the hashtag Occupy Nigeria movement. Triggered by the government's removal of fuel subsidies, the protest brought the country to a standstill, uniting Nigerians across ethnic and religious divides in their opposition to economic hardship. 64 years after independence, the removal of subsidies seems to have plunged the nation deep in hunger. For many, the promise of a better tomorrow feels distant. Inflation rises while wages remain stagnant. The basic necessities such as food, fuel, and housing have become luxuries for the average Nigerian. Fuel scarcity persists despite Nigeria's wealth in oil. Families are forced to make hard decisions of survival over comfort and hope over despair.
What we have seen over the past 64 years is the increasing worsening of our lot as working people. We have seen a situation in which poverty rate has continued to increase. We have seen a situation in which access to basic services has continued to reduce, such that education is almost totally inaccessible for the child of the common man today, such that food is almost inaccessible for the bulk of Nigerian people today. We have too many of our people sleeping on the streets who are homeless today. That is the situation we are in today.
Nigerians are hungry and suffering. Formerly, we used to buy 1 derrick of beans for 500. Now it's 2,000 naira. Following the white one is 1,005. One piece of fish before, it was 300, 500. Now it's 4,000 naira.
This is the first time in my life at age 56 that I'm seeing an Independence Day being celebrated with mass protest. Nigerians are not happy, and so the government are celebrating their jamboree. We are protesting against them.
Today is a symbolic day for Nigerians to say we reject their own independence and we want our own independence from internal colonizers. So if they don't listen, why are they doing everything? Why do you have police today if they are not listening, if they are not afraid? Yeah.
I'm happy for the country. I'm happy for myself. 64 years is no joke. For we coming together and this standing together and this strong, and this protest as a nation, is something to celebrate, not something to protest about. Thank you.
Protests, but peacefully organized as this, will continue to be a critical aspect of Nigeria's evolving democracy. As the nation faces ongoing challenges such as economic disparity, corruption, and insecurity, citizens will likely keep raising their voices. As Nigeria turns 64 as an independent nation, the role of activism cannot be overemphasized. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Nwili.
Many thanks, Bettina. The coalition of civil society organizations in Edo State on Tuesday joined their counterparts nationwide for the October 1 protest. Their demands, among others, include the restoration of fuel subsidy, improvement of security, and revert to bicameral legislature, among others, by the Bola Tinubu administration. The group, which includes the African Network for Environment and Economic Justice, Talakawa Republic, Take It Back Movement, and Faculty of Peace Organization, marched to the Nigerian Union of Journalists Edo State Secretariat before moving to other areas like Ring Road, Mission Road, Forestry, Sakbomba, airports, including some major market in the state capital.
We are here on the street to send a very strong message to the president that the economy is badly run and that the earlier that the government address the issue of crisis of the economy, the better for us.
Nigeria at 64, we are still crawling as a nation. From Genesis to Revelation, Nigeria is a vast specimen of democracy, simply because of the kind of people we elected to pilot the affairs of this country. As it is today, the masses cannot buy a liter of fuel. The rate of insecurity in our land is very high. That's why the fact that Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria states that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. You can see the masses have assembled vertically and horizontally to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the is governors. Please, Nigeria.
The economic outreach in this country right now is unbearable. We are saying we cannot take it anymore. And this is, it's not like maybe it's a rocket science that there is no solution to this problem. There is solution. The political leaders, they are just adamant because of their own selfish interest. There is no money, there's no money. We all see the money that was flying around on election day in Benin City. But what we are saying that if they refuse to change, you see that the reason that they are calling for. One day.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, marks its independence from British colonial rule in 1960. Today's celebration of the 64th Independence Day presents an opportunity for reflection on the nation's progress and a recognition of its ongoing challenges. President Bola Tinubu, 16 months into his administration, has faced criticism for being out of touch with the realities Nigerians face. In his Independence Day address, he acknowledged these concerns and made firm pledges to improve the nation's trajectory. News Center's Chidimma Ona tells us more.
October 1st, 2024, Nigeria celebrates its 64th Independence Day, marking over 6 decades since gaining freedom from British colonial rule. In a nationwide broadcast, President Bola Tinubu reflected on the nation's journey and reassured Nigerians that their concerns are being heard amid these challenging times. He recognized the economic and social difficulties many Nigerians are grappling with, but reaffirmed his administration's commitment to addressing these issues with long-term solutions.
Central concern of our people today is the high cost of living, especially food costs. This concern is shared by many around the globe as prices and the cost of living continue to rise worldwide. The economy is undergoing the necessary reforms and retooling to serve us better and more sustainably. If we do not correct the physical misalignment that led to the current economic downturn, our country will face an uncertain future and the peril of unimaginable consequences.
The president highlighted key monetary policies aimed at stabilizing the economy, emphasizing the government's strides in reducing tax burdens on citizens.
The Federal Executive Council approved the Economic Stabilization Bill, which will now be transmitted to the National Assembly. This transformative bill will make our business environment more friendly, stimulate investment, and reduce the tax burden on businesses and workers once they are passed into law. We inherited a reserve of over 33 billion 16 months ago. Since then, we have paid back the inherited forex backlog of 7 billion. We have cleared the ways and means debt of over 30 trillion naira. We have reduced the debt service ratio from 97% to 68%.
He also celebrated Nigerians' intellectual and cultural contributions, pointing to achievements in arts, science, technology, and infrastructure. On national security, Tinubu noted that substantial progress has been made, although challenges remain.
On the security front, I am happy to announce to you, my compatriots, that our administration is winning the war on terror and banditry. Our target is to eliminate all threats of Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping for ransom, and the scourge of all forms of violent extremism. Within 1 year, our government has eliminated many Boko Haram and bandit commanders faster than ever.
Tinubu announced a 30-day youth conference designed to address the unique challenges young Nigerians face. As
we work to overcome the challenges of the day, we remain mindful of next generation as we seek to galvanize their creative energy towards a better future. We lead today with the future we wish to bequeath to our children in focus, recognizing that we cannot design a future that belongs to them without making them its architects. Considering this, I am pleased to announce the gathering of a national youth conference. This conference will be a platform to address the diverse challenges and opportunities confronting our young people.
The president assured citizens that as the country moves forward, his administration would remain closely connected to the people, pledging continued support in overcoming obstacles and fostering a more prosperous future for all Nigerians. In Lagos for News Central, Chidinma Ona.
As the nation marks its 64th independence anniversary, senior government officials say that despite the difficulties being faced in the country, Nigeria is on the right track and has made tremendous progress. This was after the independence anniversary parade at the State House in Abuja. Amadine Uyi reports.
The dignitaries began arriving at the State House parade ground. First, the security chiefs, and then accompanied by the cabinet ministers, including ranking officials from the National Assembly. Shortly after, the Vice President Kashim Shettima arrived at the venue. The President subsequently arrived, and then the Independence Day anniversary parade kicked off. President Bola Tinubu took time to inspect the parade. Shortly after, there was a march past by personnel of the armed forces.
The parade we witnessed here, which was attended by Mr. President, equally reflects a mood of optimism. The security agencies have been making gains almost on a daily basis. And both them and cultural troops that performed today conveyed that Nigeria is better together.
Well, it's a happy moment for Nigeria. As we say, this is the 64th independence anniversary. You can see the mood of the nation. Everybody appears to be very happy here, even when things appear to be a bit challenging for people. People still take this day out to show that they belong to Nigeria, to show understanding with the administration, to also support the cause of this country. I think this is a happy moment.
Senior government officials were also seen on ground, as the First Lady was also cited. Some in attendance say that despite the difficulties being faced, Nigeria is on the right track and has made progress.
Passing through a very challenging time, but he also knows that we need to do this necessary sacrifice for Nigeria to progress. Every reform comes with its challenges. Ours is not an exception. We do hope that Nigerians will, at the end of the day, see the fruit of their labor.
Encouragingly and interestingly, we have stopped the decline. We have turned the bend. Inflation is coming down. GDP growth is going up. Some Nigerians may say, but not fast enough. We want to see faster. And Mr. President is committed to that. Mr. President is bold, is imaginative, and he always says, if other countries can achieve it, why not Nigeria?
The president was also commended for his earlier announcement of holding a youth confab, as some believe it is a fulfillment of his promise to engage more with Nigerian youths.
The Assembly is waiting for us. We are already talking to them, and we know the implementation is going to be awesome and wonderful. So it's a great initiative. He has already assured us, and when you listen to him very well, he said those implementations that we need to have in fact, even in the executive, are going to be done, and those ones that need to be taken to the National Assembly will be done too.
The Guards Brigade then performed a change of guards ceremony, after which President Bola Tinubu signed the Independence Register, cut the Independence cake, and then released the white pigeons, symbolizing peace. This brought to an end the colorful Independence Parade. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
As Nigeria clocks 64 years of independence from colonial rule, the citizens have been urged to be steadfast and believe in a better future for the nation. Abia State Governor Alex Oti, who gave this advice while delivering his Independence Day message at the parade ceremony organized at the Government House in Umuahia, said Nigerians should assess their various contributions to nation building to know how far they have helped in shaping the country. News Central's Chinwe Ugele tells us more.
Independence Day celebration is not just a day when the citizens and the government of Nigeria come together to celebrate the attainment of a new age. It is a day of stock-taking, reflecting on the journey so far. During the low-key program witnessed by a few government functionaries and service heads in the state, the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, preached hope, selflessness, patriotism, and tenacity.
We must never give up on the dream that motivated the struggle for independence, because it is a solemn duty to which we must now rededicate ourselves. Again, we are called to look beyond the narrow confines of our selfish aspirations and keep our gaze on the glory that comes from placing the community over and above greed of individuals.
He also encouraged all to appreciate the little efforts made over the years whilst hoping for a better future.
Nigeria shall rise again because we have in us the seeds of enduring greatness.
Some citizens agree that the people have every reason to celebrate, despite the woes being encountered.
We should pray for the leaders because they are not doing with their own power. We should pray for them so that God will have mercy and touch them and change them and help them and give them wisdom to move Nigeria so that Nigeria will move forward.
Others say there is nothing worthy of celebration with the economic downturn that has hit the nation.
To me, it's not funny, but since it's happening now, I don't really think that they have to celebrate it. How much is fuel now? It's 1,000 something. Maybe before it's not like that, but they are celebrating Nigeria. Let them reduce the fuel price. I believe that everything will be okay.
I don't need to celebrate independence again because people they suffer too much. The government say they do everything. Every day we go market, things they high. Now we celebrate independence. May they forget that one. May everything they normal. They will go celebrate. You understand?
A lot of citizens are, however, questioning at what age Nigeria will be to have reached the right age of development. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Many thanks, Chinwe. We're on a short break now. When we come back, we have more stories for you. Do stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Police fired tear gas at Abuja demonstrators against economic policies and soaring living costs. President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to improving Nigeria's future. Interpol, NIDCAM, commended for recovering stolen vehicle. Iran launches missile attacks against Israel. The National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the federal government to improve the learning environment for Nigerian students as the nation marks its 61st independence anniversary. The leadership of the union made this known in Abuja during a pro-government Independence Day rally at the Maitama area of the Federal Capital Territory. News Center's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
Anti-government protesters been dispersed with tear gas canisters at the Utako area of the federal capital.
Don't move, comrades, don't move!
However, in a different twist of events, pro-government protesters were protected by heavily armed security personnel. On one side is Nigeria's apex student union body, the National Association of Nigerian Students, while on the other hand are some members of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, all pledging support for Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu.
Sending message to the government that while commending them for the CNG buses, we want to tell the government of the day that the students and the youth are very important in our society. In every decision, at every level, they should be carried along. In employment, too, the youth should be carried along. And most importantly, palliative youth should be carried along. The youth are very important. We decided to be positive and be patriotic.
Are we looking at the cup as half full or half empty? The president came, made these reforms, and also put in place programs. So today, as we celebrate independence, we are calling on all the youth of Nigeria to key into these programs for the economic emancipation, independence, forward voyage of our country, Nigeria.
Some of the students present at the rally expressed their wishes for Nigeria in the light of the Independence Day celebration.
A happy independence to every Nigerian out there, both at home and in diaspora. We should keep the hope alive. We are driving change, and I'm very sure Nigeria will be better.
To every Nigerian out there, we have a role to play to nation building. We have a role to play to a digital economy. We have a role to play in transforming the economy of Nigeria into a better one. Cheers to Nigeria.
And I'm here to encourage each youth of Nigeria to stand strong. As we stand strong, we are united, we stand strong.
I'm happy I came to celebrate Nigeria at 64, and I'm very happy and I enjoyed the harmony and everything. Thank you.
Despite the impression of a tension-filled day with the hashtag Fearless October, the atmosphere in the Federal Capital Territory remained calm as security agencies continued their patrol and manned several key points within the city center. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Let's head on now to Jos, the Plateau State capital. Residents have lent their voices, among others, asking for a better country while commemorating the 64th independence anniversary of Nigeria. While some are of the view that nothing is worth celebrating, others believe there is every reason to mark the achievements of the country's 64th year after colonial rule. News Center's Chizobanyo has more.
64 years after Nigeria's independence, many citizens feel a lot should have been achieved. Sadly, they feel citizens have been shortchanged by Nigerian leaders. Residents of Jos are calm, going about their lawful businesses, while some others are away from work to observe the public holiday. Some advocates of good governance had set aside October 1 to protest the ills in the country, but such did not happen in Plateau State, probably because of the fragile peace in recent time. Some residents spoke to News Central about their thoughts on Nigeria's Independence Day 64 years after, noting the economic hardship experienced by many.
How much is petrol today, for example? I had to follow Keke, left my car. I had a function here, but I had to leave my car at home because I cannot afford to buy 1 gallon of fuel to put in my car. So really, there's really nothing to celebrate about, if you ask me.
Where the bank of trust is no longer there, you discover that for growth to happen, it wouldn't just take place. So that's just what's happening to Nigeria. There's a disconnect between the leaders and the followers.
Our leaders have taken us, Nigerians, for granted too much. Nothing is working. What are we even celebrating? 64 years of independence, we have nothing to show than to just thank God that we are alive.
They feel that public office holders have a lot to do for a better Nigeria.
It is for the government to be assertive in its tackling of the problems in the land, primarily the insecurity in the land, and then to take deliberate policy decisions that will address the challenges that we are having with the economy.
Our leaders will have to be sincere, being deliberate, and they have to take decisive decision on how to make this country go forward. Just like where you hear any younger person will say the American dream. What is the Nigerian dream?
The way out is the youth to take the bull by the horn and come out in 2027 and vote massively for anybody that we think that can bring us out of this mess we are in.
While a greater number of Nigerians feel disappointed at the situation of things in the country, it is also a wake-up call to all and sundry to contribute their quota in making Nigeria a home for everyone to live in. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
Indeed. What is the Nigerian dream? A pertinent question by a respondent from Jos. Moving away from the 64th independence celebration in Nigeria, let's now tell you that the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM, in collaboration with the Nigerian branch of the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, has successfully recovered the official vehicle of the Commission Secretary, which was stolen in November 2023. During the handover ceremony, NIDCAM Chairman, CEO, Honorable Abike Dabidi Erewa, expressed her deep gratitude to Interpol and the Commission staff for their relentless efforts in tracking down and retrieving the stolen vehicle. Interpol's representatives for Vehicles, Crime and Investigation, Onyebuchi Matthew, emphasized that the recovery showcases the power of cross-border cooperation and underscores the importance of timely reporting in cases of stolen vehicle. Still ahead, Senegal's Macky Sall to face off against Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. That's after the break. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Senegal's opposition coalition has selected former President Macky Sall as its lead candidate for the upcoming parliamentary elections in November. This announcement was made by officials from Sall's former majority party on Tuesday. If approved by the election directorate, the parliamentary race is set to reignite the rivalry between Sall and current Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. Sonko, who was jailed for more than 7 months during Sall's presidency and barred from running in the March presidential elections, has been confirmed as the candidate for his PASTEF party in the November 17 poll. Senegal's political landscape has been turbulent in recent years. The unrest accumulated in the presidential election earlier this year, where Sonko's replacement, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, secured a decisive victory with over 54% of the vote, defeating Amadou Ba, the successor to Sall. One of our lead stories tonight, Iran has launched a barrage of missiles at Israel in response to the killing of senior Hezbollah and Hamas officials, sending Israelis rushing to bomb shelters and raising fears of all-out war in the region. Alarms sounded across Israel and explosions could be heard in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv after Israelis piled into bomb shelters late on Tuesday. Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari said there were no reports of casualties from Tuesday's attack and that the army does not see any more threats in their airspace. He said in a video message that people in Israel were safe to leave shelters. Let's cross now live to News Central's senior international correspondent Adeshawa Josh, who joins us from Istanbul. Adeshawa, thanks again. Good to see you. Please, what can you tell us about what's going on? What's the latest? Has there been any confirmation about the casualties?
Well, a senior Hezbollah official has been speaking to the media, and he claims that Iran's attack on Israel was indeed a successful one, and that the targeted strategic military sites and installations were indeed struck as planned. He claimed that the attack had casualties among Israeli troops, and that this was in retaliation to the assassination on April the 13th by Israel of some of the IRGC, that's Iran's Revolutionary Guard commanders. He also claimed that the Israeli military is unlikely to confirm those casualties. The Israeli military indeed hasn't confirmed or denied any casualty on their own side, but has promised to respond in due course.
How are world leaders responding to this attack?
Well, so far we have heard from EU policy chief and the United States, both condemning Iran's attack on Israel. Iran has said that it will indeed not be sorry for this attack because it says it is a response to the mass killings in Gaza and, of course, Lebanon. Now, it's quite interesting to see a U-turn of sorts from the EU policy chief, who has been unequivocal about condemning Israel's killings in Gaza and, of course, its ground invasion in Lebanon. Going forward, it looks as though that Iran's involvement in this war changes sort of the equation for how Western allies are now going to respond to what is now obviously an outset of an all-out war in the region.
What are the implications of Iran's direct hit on Israel just 6 days through the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attack?
Well, this definitely changes the outlook on the war, for sure. You know, one thing is certain, that perhaps to confirm Yoav Gallant's, that's the Minister of Defense of Israel, to confirm what he said a while ago about the balance of power and it changing. That was what the Israeli Prime Minister said, I beg your pardon. And also Yoav Gallant also saying that going forward, things are going to change concerning the war. We see that going forward, allies are going to begin to take sides as to who they want to defend as Israel plans its response against Iran. Also, we have seen that Russia has condemned Israel's ground invasion, but continues to be a critic of the killings in Gaza. With Iran involved, we may see increased solidarity, as I mentioned earlier, because Iran is seen as a common enemy and aggressor of Western allies. It is quite critical what happens from now on, from this moment and overnight. In fact, I'm looking at my feed because this is such a breaking story, and there's just so much information being bombarded on the feed right now. We're hearing that Israel is now asking people in southern Beirut to take cover. Usually when this warning comes on, it's because it is preparing for another barrage of airstrikes. It is quite, it's a dire situation. It is likely to spill over into neighboring countries, and you and I know what could possibly happen in the next coming days and weeks if a detente is not achieved.
Indeed. Adeshawa, do stay safe. We will be coming back to you in the coming days. All right, let's go over now to our business desk for today's business stories.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business, the Naira closed September 2024 at 1,541 Naira on the official NAFEM window, a 2.77% appreciation from the 1,585 Naira per dollar rate at the start of the month. This marks its strongest performance since June 2024. However, in the parallel market, the Naira fell to 1,700 Naira per dollar, its weakest point since February. Forex turnover on September 26 reached $334.05 million, driven by the Central Bank of Nigeria's intervention, selling $20,000 to bureau de change operators. The CBN also raised interest rates and tightened monetary policy to stabilize the forex market. Additionally, foreign reserves grew by nearly 5%, ending the month at $38.06 billion. Ghana's economy is showing signs of continued strength, with Fitch Solutions forecasting growth to reach a three-year high of 5.5% in 2024. This positive outlook follows a robust 6.9% year-on-year expansion in the second quarter of the year. Key drivers of this growth include increased industrial output, particularly in mining and quarrying, as well as a continued recovery in the construction sector. Additionally, a rise in private consumption and strong export have contributed to the overall economic expansion. While Fitch Solutions expects growth to moderate in the second half of 2024, the firm remains optimistic about the country's economic prospects. The positive outlook is supported by strong consumer fundamentals, as evidenced by the growth in mobile money transactions and new payment card issuances. And finally, in Southern Africa, South African manufacturer sentiment has reached a 5-month high, buoyed by optimism surrounding improved business conditions as central banks lower interest rates. The Absa Group's Purchasing Managers Index rose to 52.8% in September from 43.6% in August, indicating a positive shift, although the average for the third quarter remains just below the expansion threshold at 49.6%. Expectations for future business conditions surged to 70.8%, the highest since January 2021. Deputy President Paul Mashatile, during an investor roadshow in the UK, emphasized the government's focus on economic growth through infrastructure investment. Additionally, the South African Reserve Bank's recent interest rate cut and a drop in fuel prices are expected to enhance consumer demand and improve the inflation outlook. And that's a package on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Sports update is next.
Sports update brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Hello and welcome. This is Sports News. Orlando Pirates defender Olisanda is a major doubt for Nigeria's Super Eagles ahead of their crucial 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya. The former Aqua United star missed last weekend's South African Premier League match against Richards Bay after picking up an injury in the previous fixture against Polokwane City. And that was forced off in the 75th minute of the game and was later confirmed to have sustained the knock. And that played 25 minutes in Nigeria's 3-0 victory over Benin in Uyo and had been expected to feature in the squad for the October 11 showdown with Libya. The Confederation of African Football has launched a safeguarding initiative for the well-being and integrity of African football players with the hashtag #ProtectTheDream. With the rising scourge in the exploitation of young African talent, the educational program aims to raise awareness of the risks of player trafficking and exploitation. It also provides tools to build the confidence of young football players through communication training, promotes the health and well-being of both male and female players, and works towards creating a safe and supportive environment for all players. Introduced at the recent CAF African Schools Football Championship Continental Finals in Zanzibar, the Protect the Dream campaign will be anchored by African football legends Emmanuel Adebayor, Amanda Dlamini, and Daniel Amokachi, amongst others. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes has avoided a ban after the club successfully appealed against his red card in Sunday's loss at home to Tottenham Hotspur. The 30-year-old was shown a straight red card for a foul on Spurs midfielder James Maddison and would have faced a 3-match suspension for serious foul play. However, United successfully argued that the decision to send him off was wrong, and Fernandes will now be available for his side's forthcoming Premier League fixtures against Aston Villa, Brentford and West Ham. Eric Ten Hag's side were 1-0 down when Fernandes was sent off and proceeded to lose 3-0, their third league defeat of the campaign. Carlos Alcaraz will play Yannick Sinner in the China Open final after cruising past Daniil Medvedev in straight sets. The Spanish world number 3 needed 88 minutes to seal a 7-5, 6-3 win against his opponent, who needed 2 medical timeouts for treatment on his left leg. It is the 21-year-old's 8th successive victory since his shock second-round defeat by Botic van de Zandschulp at the US Open. World number 1 and defending champion Sinner reached the final with a 6-3, 7-6, 7-3 win over Chinese wildcard Bu Yunchakaute. Thank you for listening. I am Okweoluwa Adebari.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And now in entertainment tonight, Nigerian rapper and music executive Chibuzo Nelson Azubuike, popularly known as Phyno, has revealed the official track list for his highly anticipated 5th studio album, set for release on Friday, the 4th of October, 2024. Phyno has already generated excitement with the release of 2 singles, Time of My Life featuring British rapper RD and hit remix of Do I with Grammy winner Burna Boy. These singles serve as a teaser for what fans can expect from the full album. Phyno shared the star-studded track list earlier today, featuring collaborations with a wide array of artists. These include underground Nigerian content creator Emaudia, his label signee Check, British rapper Chip, songstress Fave, High Life maestro Flavor, British group NSG, and Grammy-winning superstar Burna Boy. The album also features maving soul singer Johnny Drill and controversial figure Hush Puppy, making it one of the most anticipated releases of the year. As debates continue about the quality of recent Nigerian albums, all eyes are on Phyno, also known as Izigi, to deliver an album that will stand out in the Nigerian music scene. On the international scene, a documentary exploring Chris Brown's history of domestic abuse and violent behavior titled Chris Brown, A History of Violence, is set to air later this year. The film, produced by the same team behind the quiet on-set expose of Nickelodeon's toxic culture in the 1990s, will be televised on the Investigation Discovery Network on October the 27th. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the documentary delves into Brown's numerous allegations of offstage aggression, including intimate partner violence, assault charges, and sexual misconduct accusations. In the trailer, a woman is heard saying, "Chris Brown's an amazing and talented musician, but let's call a thing a thing. He's an abuser of women." This follows Brown's notorious 2009 assault of then-girlfriend Rihanna, for which he was found guilty of felony assault and sentenced to 5 years probation, counseling, and community service. Since then, Brown has faced various legal issues, including a 2021 battery investigation, a lawsuit involving a dog attack, and a nightclub brawl last year where he allegedly beat a man with a tequila bottle. In response to the ongoing criticism, especially after a collaboration with Chloe Bailey, Brown lashed out on social media, expressing frustration that people continue to hold his past against him, while other artists seemingly go unpunished for their wrongdoings. Additionally, Investigation Discovery is working on a docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs, currently incarcerated and awaiting trial on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. The series is expected to be released in 2025.
News in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's all we have for you tonight. But before we go, let's wrap things up with a recap of our major stories. Police fired tear gas at Abuja demonstrators against economic policies and soaring living costs. President Tinubu has reaffirmed commitments to improving Nigeria's future. Interpol, NICAM, have been commended for recovering stolen vehicle. We also brought you news that Iran has launched missile attacks against Israel. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night. And once again, happy Independence Day to Nigerians.